Now, the media wants you to believe American businesses are panicking over tariffs. Newsflash, they're not. They're celebrating. Connecticut wire manufacturers report being inundated with customers looking to buy wire again, now that Chinese dumping has halted. Fourth-generation Louisiana shrimper A.C. Cooper, he said it bluntly. He said, quote, "We've been suffering for over 20 years. This country can't feed itself anymore." That's not hyperbole. It's national security. Arizona cattle ranchers revealed the shocking truth. Quote, "We have zero sales in Australia right now, none. Yet they sell billions into the U.S. American producers have been locked out of foreign markets while their goods flood ours. And now those days are over. From beef to wire to shrimp, American producers aren't asking for handouts. They're demanding fair access, and Donald Trump is delivering. And just as American businesses are roaring back to life under Trump's policies, your body can experience the same resurgence. Just like our ranchers and factory owners who've been suffering from unfair competition, your body battles inflammation and pain from unfair biological processes. Chuck Norris discovered that at the age of 84. He could regain the strength and energy of his 50s by addressing just 3 health saboteurs. While Trump removes trade barriers for American businesses, Chuck Norris removes health barriers from your body. Our ranchers deserve fair treatment in global markets, and you deserve to feel your best. Watch Chuck's method at chuckdefense.com/next. You'll find it linked down below. And we thank Chuck Norris for sponsoring the Next News Network. Let's go. Here's an Arizona cattle rancher. This is his story.
Out in Nagila, Arizona, you have to watch for cattle. Brian Dagan is a third-generation Arizona rancher.
These are all Hereford cross cattle. The black ones are showing the Angus more, and the red ones are showing the Hereford more.
His cattle ranch produces enough beef to feed 4,000 families a year, but that number could be a lot higher.
What we would like is to have access to these foreign markets.
Cows like the ones behind me will be steaks in a year, and Dagan says if Trump's tariff plan works, ranchers like himself will be able to sell those steaks in international markets that right now they just don't have access to.
Australia ships a lot of beef into the United States, and that's fine, but they won't let our better cuts go into Australia. We have zero sales in Australia right now, none. And they sell billions of dollars in the United States.
Even with the stock market dip.
I am a Trump supporter.
Dagan wants people to be patient with President Trump.
You just need to let this guy work for a minute and see what it's the art of the deal. We got to let him negotiate. He's been negotiating well for the American people before. I think we give him a chance to do it again.
Pretty soon they will be eating American steaks in Australia. Here is President Trump on Air Force One talking about, speaking to leaders of tech companies around the world.
Sir, have you talked to any tech leaders over the weekend about the tariffs?
Yeah, I talked to the biggest in the world. I talked to the biggest of them all, many of them. But I've talked to, I would say 4 or 5 that are considered the biggest. They don't, you know what they said? We don't blame you.
We don't blame you, President Trump. Here's a Connecticut business leader supporting President Trump's tariffs.
Cars incoming, not going to jack prices up. We're going to keep them, right where they are. We have plenty of inventory on ground. We got cars incoming.
And more than just holding the line on prices, Orsini said he sees the need for Trump's tariffs, which the president says are a way to help rebuild America's industrial base, including the auto industry.
You drive up to Michigan or go to these places where, the American cars were being built years ago. It's very dead up there now. A lot of empty buildings, a lot of empty factories.
We didn't have to go all the way to Michigan to find a manufacturer hurt by foreign competition. The president of Taconic Wire in North Branford told us her family business, which produces stitching wire for a range of industries, has lost clients to China for years, and they're already seeing a turnaround.
We've actually been inundated with our customers calling in now, looking to buy wire from us once again, now that the tariffs have gone into effect.
Other businesses we spoke to echoed that sentiment to buy American. Dave Rutigliano is a Republican state legislator. He also operates a string of bars and restaurants across the state.
Most of our products we use here are from the United States.
Ritigliano said the biggest drag on his business has been inflation, which he holds Democrats like former President Joe Biden responsible for.
That has had a bigger effect on all of our prices, more than we anticipate with tariffs.
We're not going to jack prices up. We're going to keep them, right where.
Joe Biden's inflation is what really hurt this country the most. Here we have a fifth-generation cattle rancher, Steve Lucy. He says, I think at this point, we should be all in on what's happening.
So I think at this point, we should all be all in on what's happening. I mean, we had 4 years of a lot of mischief and sluggish economy and everything else and a lot of fake money. So we have to deal with a little bit of pain to have some gain, right? And I think we're going to have to just do that. I think, this shrimper guy was interesting to me. I loved hearing that because our industry is the same. We have the lowest beef herd that we've had since 1950. And that is because so many people have gotten out of the industry over the years. And if we would have had this fair trade and our marketing would have been better when we could have exported more of our beef, I don't think we would have lost all these farmers and ranchers. And that's going to take some time to rebuild.
Do you guys see what's on the horizon? Take some time to rebuild. Imagine where this country is going to be in 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years. Oh, it's going to be so glorious. Let's keep going. Here's more. Here's a fourth-generation Louisiana shrimper.
Back. Look,
we got all kinds of shrimp.
Suffering for over 20 years. A little bit more suffering is not going to hurt us. Bring it back. This country can't feed itself. This country can't sustain its own way of life. If we get in a war with China, one of our big importers, if we get in a war with China, how in this country is going to feed this country? How are we going to feed the people of this country? The farmers, they're taking the big lick. They're not farming. The fishermen, you're taking us out. Where's your food going to come from? It has to come within this country, and that way you're safe. If you get in a war, and the way today is, you never know what's going to happen. So you need to sustain your own way of life here in this country.
It's a national security issue. It is. He's making a great point. If we're importing, we're dependent upon all these other nations. It's time to rebuild American industry, and that's what Donald Trump's doing with these reciprocal tariffs. Here is an Illinois cattle rancher praising President Trump's tariffs as well.
A little bit worried about. Well, first I want to start with this industry is in a unique position. While other people in agriculture may be a little bit worried about the tariffs, people like Alan Adams here who run this cattle farm are uniquely positioned because, again, as you said, this will level the playing field. So tell me how you're feeling at this moment.
Well, we've struggled with tariffs my whole adult life in the cattle business. And so we were happy to hear the president last week mention that beef was one of the things that he wanted to have tariffs lowered. And so some of the European countries and Australia have been difficult for us to sell beef in. And so they get to sell beef into our country, and we're happy to have them compete against us. But we'd like the same chance to sell the great taste of American beef to them.
Yeah, baby. Where's the beef? Here's more from the Tim Sheehy talking about our agriculture sector getting decimated.
Our shrimp long-term, making life affordable for working class families again, making sure the blue-collar jobs that are manufacturing, that bring industry back. I mean, look at our egg sector, for example. Our egg sector gets decimated by other countries tariffing our beef imports, our shrimp, our catfish. I mean, you have Asian nations dumping millions of pounds of shrimp, catfish, shellfish. Australia dumps beef into our market. They tariff us at up to 50% of our exported ag products and then dump mass-produced ag products into our market, severely harming our farmers and our ranchers. So it's about time we have a level playing field for our business. For businesses for a generation now, we've let the rest of the world take advantage of that. That has inflationary impacts as well.
No more taking advantage of the United States. Donald Trump is on the case. So what we're witnessing isn't just economic theory. It is the revival of America's productive heartland. Fifth-generation cattle rancher Steve Lucy put it perfectly. We have the lowest beef herd since 1950 because people left the industry. If we could have exported more, that wouldn't have happened. This is the real-world impact of globalist betrayal. American producers being systematically destroyed while foreign goods flood in. Now, the architects of this system, the economic experts who promise prosperity through globalization, they've got blood on their hands. They sacrificed American livelihoods on the altar of cheap consumer goods and corporate profits. Now, just 78 days of Trump's second term, the tide is finally turning. American businesses are fighting back and they're winning. So here's the question for you guys. If American producers are cheering these tariffs, why is the media only going after Wall Street executives who oppose them? Support American producers by shopping at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Grab a Next News hat or a shirt and show the world you stand with the real news.